Here we go.
That's great. Well, thanks for inviting me. It's really, this industry is great because we can share ideas and it's such an interesting and expanding industry, and creativity is really what drives this industry. I just think that what I've done over the last, say, 17 years with seminars is something I think is unique and that nobody else in Australia has done. So when I first started doing seminars, I just got a couple of people into our office, and we did something of things like what was happening in China, general economic stuff. And then I found that we got too many people for Alpha, so then I thought I'll get a venue and we'll go to a club and get a venue and get more people. And it was in fact Miles Cronin who said to me, if you could just do a seminar, doesn't matter what you say, just turn up and do a seminar every quarter or whatever, you'll find that you'll get a lot of business from it. So I thought I'll take Miles' advice. And I did, and I found that over time, what I initially did was pinch fund manager seminars or technical seminars. So you know, when there was an age pension, age care update, they were obviously done by the technical team in AMP. Pinch that, go and do a presentation to your clients. The other one was pinch fund manager seminars. You know, they'd be doing something on price of fuel, oil, or something like that. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. Let's do that for our clients. So I pinched one which was on mapping the human genome, which sounds a really odd topic, but it was really important to highlight to a lot of clients that the impact of that could actually extend the life expectancy by 3 to 5 years. And if you've got another 3 to 5 years to finance your retirement, that's pretty important. So even though it was a bit of an odd topic, we got quite a good response from it. So coming back to why do we want to do seminars? The seminars, I believe, is really important now as we go through in the post-FOFA world, how to keep engaged with your clients. If you're just going to go and send out a letter once a year and say, come in for a review, is that really enough? Is that really going to show that you're engaged with your clients? And of course, we've got this great pressure now from ASIC saying, how many, have you actually been giving your clients service for the fees you're charging? And in my view, this is going to be one of the engagement tools that keeps you in front of the clients and shows you care. Because ultimately, the more you have contact with your clients, we all know this, the more contacts, phones, emails, mails, the more business you get. It's just one of those undisputed rules that if you can be in front of your clients once a month, once a quarter, you got to get more business because you keep reminding them that you care about them, and it keeps them in front of your mind, or them in front of your mind, send their friends or relatives to you. And I found that every time I do a seminar, I get referrals. It doesn't seem to matter. Every time I get referrals, they can go back 10 years. I had clients only 3 weeks ago. We send a letter out for the seminar, and they rang me up and said, oh, my husband's just going back to work in the hospital. We need to do his PBI benefit calculations. They'd been to me 10 years before, and I've been mailing them for 10 years. So they came back to me after 10 years. Okay, I spent a lot of money, you know, it's $1 in post and that sort of thing. It's all marketing, but it's not that expensive. But the key thing is you're getting clients and engagement with clients, even though they might not turn up at your seminars, they're still engaged with you. So if they get that redundancy or do they retire or inherit that money, you're still in front of mind because you're still marketing to them. It shows your care and shows you're there on the long term thinking about their interests. So it's very important. I think it's a very important part of my business. I think the most valuable part of my business, apart from the revenue that comes in, is the fact that this database is a lot of high clients. That is a key part of my future revenue, is those clients who don't get engaged will be coming back to me when they do need to get engaged because we've had this ongoing client contact.
How many seminars do you do a year, Russell?
4. So we try to do once a quarter, and we'll go through now and just talk about how that process can be maximised, because you want to get the maximum out of your seminars, and there's a whole range of things to do that, to achieve that. So in my case, the first one is that the your venue, your content, your financial time and cost, considering that, and the invitations. How do you get every one of those ticked through the system so you get the maximum benefit? That's what we're going to look at today. So the first advantage, just go through some of the objectives. Why do we want to do this? So we want to create a trust bank with our clients. The more you contact your clients, the more you've got a trust bank. And this is going to be important when the next disaster hits. When the next financial disaster comes, they're going to be ringing you up saying, what's happened, Russell? Why have I lost all my money? Why can't I just pull it all out? But if you've got trust, because you've been there every quarter giving them a seminar, you've built up a trust bank. Now, as I said, this is important not so much when things are going well, it's when things go badly. Because when things go badly, you've already been talking to them every quarter saying what's happening in the world, and you can then go back to them and say, as we did 2 weeks after the Lehman Brothers collapse, what's happening with American banks? And we had 76 people there. We had people sitting on the edge of their seats when that happened, saying, what's going to happen to my money? But because I had a seminar program, because I had all the systems in place, because they knew the venue, they knew that they could come along and find out what was going to go on. And I didn't have all the answers, but I knew that the government in America was going to do some things to change, to prop up the American financial system. So you have to pull out some rabbits out of the hat. But at least you're out in front of them saying to 76 people, don't panic, rather than getting 76 different phone calls. And we'll go through this, but it's very important when you have that big group thing. It very much is very reassuring that seeing other people go through the process where you do an hour presentation and say, look, things will be okay. They all eventually sigh at the end of the day and say, okay, it's going to be okay. So very important trust bank. 4 presentations a year. That's my aim. I put in my client offer, and it's not so much how many people turn up, it's how many people you invite. That's the important thing. And that's where a lot of planners, they do one seminar, I've got 5 people coming along, oh, I won't do that again. Don't be disheartened by that. It's an accumulation thing. Educate your clients about superannuation. That's the first topic. You start off and say, okay, we should tell our clients about age pension rule changes, superannuation rule changes. That's important. But as a marketing tool is really also more important for you as a planner. But the main thing is that the marketing is that you're getting out to clients, and as I said, your database for that is important. When we have a database, every client who comes in, just might be a consultation on a car lease or a PBI benefit for the hospitals, they go on the database. They become part of our future clients, because one day they'll retire, one day they'll get retained. So it doesn't matter they don't have any money now, it's your future clients you've got to think about. With seminars, you've got to remember most people don't like speaking in front of people, but as I said, I started off with only 10 to 15 people in the office, and then I got more and more people, but you get better at it, and the thing is just persevere. People will get more confident as you go along, and it's just one of those skills you've got to learn. I should delete that one there, PDMs and BDMs. I mean, most people, just as a general rule, you generally don't get asked to do presentations, do you? Do seminars?
Yeah.
You do? Yeah, okay. And how do you find that? Do you find that you get a good response from the planner and the clients when you turn up?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, depending on the topic, but normally it's broad-based.
Yeah.
Sort of topic, Russ.
Yeah, more financial planning topics,
Yeah, Russ, in the past you've used, technically PDM, PM as they are now are, but not so recently. Do you think it's better that you do the presentations? Do you think you get a better response?
Yeah. They absolutely. I mean, in my view, your clients have put their trust in you, in the planner, right? Somebody coming in from outside, that's great. I mean, it'll be good to have somebody from AMP here, flying flag. But ultimately, they've bought the planner. The planner's the guy who's going to get them through retirement or make sure their age pension is correct. And so, unless you can get up and talk to people, you don't get as much credibility out of it. You get a lot more credibility presenting and being up there and seeing that you're looking after your flock, let's call it. And at the end of the day, yes, fund managers, I don't use fund managers to come in. I don't use external fund managers. I create my own seminars. And I've always had a rule that I thought if you bring in a fund manager just saying, well, you don't know enough about what you're talking about because you've got to get a fund manager. That's my view. So, as I said, I've never really got people in externally. I think the reason is because I think it's important for you to be out there talking to your clients directly because they bought you.
How much time do you spend preparing for a seminar?
Varies, but it can be. I normally write up a seminar in about 2 hours, an hour to 2 hours, and then I give it to my staff to make it pretty and put in things. This is my daughter's gone through and gone into Google's pictures and made things to make it pretty up, and that's one of the things you need to do to make it more interesting. As you know, some people are visual, so they'll latch onto that. Some people will listen to your presentation. So you've got to try and cover both in your seminars. So, but yeah, as I said, I think that's something that obviously getting your BDMs is important, but as I said, it's probably more important that the planner does more of the presentations to show that he's leading his clients.
What I'll normally find, Russ, is, where I'll do something, we'll bring in a specialist to do something. So it might be an economic overview, right, AMP capital person. Then the advisor will granulise that detail at the end of the presentation.
Right.
So to
bring it together, pull into it.
I absolutely agree with you. It's about your own brand
Yep.
and your own practice and, looking after your flock.
Yeah.
So normally that sort of sets the tone to bring it all together.
Yeah. It's got to be done delicately, I suppose that's what you're saying. It's, if you just say, oh, here's the fund manager, I'll sit down and walk off. Yeah, sorry.
But there could be a role for the BDM to introduce you. So as a BDM, if I do a joint, I've done it, Jared, we did a joint appointment and you introduced me as the risk specialist. The advisor sat forward in their chair because this was somebody else saying that I knew what I was talking about.
Oh, yes.
As opposed to me rocking up saying, hello, I'm a BDM.
Yeah.
You could use BDMs or reps from AMP the same way to introduce you as in, or as we could do it for advisors, to say, I work AMP, I work with over, 250 advisors in my career, I work with around 1,000. Russell Dew is excellent at before you even start, and all these people are going, oh God, so there's an opportunity maybe for that so you're still controlling it, but they're doing that nice little intro.
Absolutely.
Set the scene, Colin.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
I can't think of the right words.
One of our seminars each year we have Shane Oliver come down, and so he fortunately says something like, I think Russell Dew is great and all that sort of thing. He said, if I lived in Canberra, he said, Russell Dew would be my planner. So I think that's one of the accolades that I get there. But you're right, if you can get it the right sort of credentialisation by somebody independent, that's right, that's really what it's about.
Shane only likes Canberra because there's mostly Mustangs and Holden V8s.
That's right, that's right. These choice of cars, that's right. So just some of the skills is obviously use fund managers' presentations if you can pinch them. And usually just ring on and say, can we use it? Graphs are important because they're visual aids. You really need something that's visual so that it keeps the client's interest. And then come to the letter of engagement. This is important. This is where I think a lot of planners go wrong. You've got a credibility by your letterhead. But the problem is, most people don't read their mail with their glasses on when they're over 50. So they're getting their gas bill, their water bill, and all their bills, but they don't read the actual thing. They're actually sifting their mail by colour and by the look of it. So when you send something out that is a letter, my key thing is having a photo there. Because they see that and they see the photo. They said, it's Russell Dew, that's important. But if you didn't have that, it was just something from Charter, it gets into the waste paper. Just a key thing about how you get through to the client. Everything is on one page. I'll just show you here. But the key thing is everything's on one page. And all the information's here. A catchy line. This one's a Brexit, a study in economic suicide. Suicide, what's all that about? I better find out what's happening there. You've got to be provocative. You've got to be out there competing with newspapers. Newspapers are out there every day saying the world's going to end tomorrow. And we are there, sitting there, backing her up and saying, no, it's not going to happen, and these are the reasons why, but you've actually got to go and step up and do the same thing that the newspapers are doing. That gets their attention. The other one was, I did one on women in the workforce. From the kitchen to the boardroom, women in the workforce since the Middle Ages. Now, a bit of an odd topic, you think. Well, I'll come to that in a minute, but the thing is, you've got to have those two catchy lines in colour, big, bold space, then saying we're going to have a little bit of information, just one line or 2 lines on the topic. Venue, date, RSVP, all on one page. Don't stick 15 pages in there. You know, that's the worst thing you can do. Marketing is about being direct and getting an impact. And the credibility of your letterhead. And as I said, I use a photo. I just think that the photo is important because you're selling yourself. You're not selling Charter, you're not selling AP, you're selling yourself. So I think that's where a lot of planners go wrong with. I've seen, I think Bill Bracey did once, he produced a nice little card, or like a postcard, sent out to clients. Well, that's nice, but it doesn't carry the same aura as your office. And as I said, it didn't have everything on it that you needed. Anyway, main thing is a colour photo, just to make sure you're good. I actually get my own letterhead done independently. It's not done through the normal process, so that's how I get my photo on the letterhead. My own pages set out what happens. Now, timing is important. Don't make it too far ahead, because people will say, oh, that's too far ahead, put them in and forget about it. 2 or 3 weeks, make it very quick. Turnaround's quick, so they can say, oh, my diary's next 2 weeks, so I've got Rotary on that day, but yes, I can do it the next day, right? Invitations, too far in advance. That's a big problem if you do it too far in advance. Do not use emails. Emails have got low value. They get into people's junk boxes. It shows you don't care about them. It shows that you're not really putting a value on your relationship. Because mail has got a great value now because there's less and less mail coming through. So a letter coming personally to a client is showing you that you care and you're still putting effort into that relationship, especially for people over 50 or 60. They still believe in mail. They certainly have email, but it doesn't get the impact because you're building trust between that client. We have just started doing an email for reminders though. So you've got the letter, then we get an email reminder on the RSVP date, and that stimulates a few more people to come along because they've forgotten it or they didn't really know what they were doing that week or something. Just do an email, broadcast email on that, and you can get your broadcast emails done by going to North, and they'll send you all your clients' emails. And then you can do a broadcast email on that. So you can use your whole your electronic systems effective that way. To your clients, and obviously all clients are on North, so that's all good.
Russell, sorry.
Right.
So if you're only sending your original invite 2 to 3 weeks beforehand, what's the RSVP date?
It's about a week before, because the clubs, we go to a club in Canberra, and they want the numbers beforehand. We don't have, they just want it about a week beforehand so they can program the room and everything. But yeah, try and keep it fairly short as possible in timing. That's the issue. So a reminder email, and then when you've done the seminar, you then do an email, and we just started this again, doing an email to say, yes, we've had the seminar. If you couldn't attend, you then put a link back to my website for the video, because it'll be videoed each time. And then they can video it. So, oh, gee, I'd love to go to that seminar. You get that call. They say, oh, look, go to my website. It's on there. You can see me in magnificent colour and watch the video. Or you can get the text, and we'll put the text on there as well. So then you're getting good value out of this. You're getting 3 contacts with your clients for that seminar. So again, it's not so much how many people turn up, it's how many contacts you're getting out of it. So you're getting this marketing force working for you. Colour invitations on the photo, we will put a bit of colour into your invitation. Only briefly describe the topic, organise a location. That's central. In Canberra, we're lucky, you know, Sydney's a problem. But central location, same venue, same time, that keeps the momentum, because then the clients don't have to, oh, where's he going to turn up to, where's he going to be today? Keep the same thing. And your phone and RSVP. Local clubs are good, yeah, venues. So that's our venue in Canberra. Some people, well, Andy, you've done presentations there, but it's great. Looks over the golf course. It's an easy location, got easy parking. They've got lighting in the parking, car park at night. It's very secure, safe place to go, because when I'm over 60, there's a boogeyman comes out at night, so you've got to get there at home before it gets dark, all that sort of thing, you know. You get a different clientele. We do a lunchtime one, and we'll talk about that. We get a lunchtime one, which we did, Shane Oliver does with me, and we get a different clientele to the ones who do after work. We do it 5:30, 6:30 after work, and we did older clients in the lunchtime one. They've got more time than they come out at lunchtime. So that's all good. So lunchtime one, we just put on sandwiches and a bit of a soft drink. And then when we do the 5:30 one, we just put on wine and beer and no food. No food, because we don't want to feed them. If you feed them, the husband goes and gorges on the food, goes home and says, I don't want to eat any, I don't want to have dinner. So the wife says, oh, we won't go to that seminar again because you've eaten all the food. So you don't feed them. Just drink. They just have 1 or 2 glasses and they're fine. And after work ones, people dropping in after work. Camera's good because people can drop in after 5:30 as they go home from work. Costs about $800 for about 800 clients. That's $1 a stamp. Sounds a lot, but you know, it's not really. I mean, it cost me $5,000 to have a Yellow Pages, a Yellow Pages ad, which I now got rid of. But it was $5,000 for that, and I really only got 1 or 2 referrals a year. So if you look at this over a 12-month period, I'd probably only spend $3,000 or $4,000 a year for all this marketing benefit. You know, it's really a huge amount of marketing benefit out of $3,000 to $4,000 a year. As I said, I create my own seminars. Now, why do I do that? It's because I wanted to address topics of interest. Now, you've got all the time, you've got things in the newspaper where the world's going to end. So, what's going to happen? Trump's going to blow up North Korea. Well, you know, that was a topic we did speak about in the last seminar. So, I know the topic was going to be Brexit and women at workforce. So I said, look, spend 5 minutes saying, look, this is the reason why the world's not going to blow up. You had them all there, you might as well address that topic. Now, there's always going to be an economic topic that's going to be in the newspaper. So it's probably the next 12 months it's going to be interest rates rising. So we'll probably do something on interest rates rising. But the next one I might do is on the infrastructure boom just about to hit Australia with the amount of infrastructure spending that's going to happen over the next 3 to 5 years is just enormous. It's actually going to dwarf the actual resource boom spending. I'll say that again. It's going to dwarf the resource boom spending. So it's about twice the amount of money going into infrastructure as it was into resource projects. So that's a big issue for economics. Why? Because it's going to help, obviously, Australia grow and go forward. It makes clients feel that things are going good and that they're going to keep their money invested. As I said, the main thing is to make them topical and interesting and something that's in the newspapers. So this is the one we did on Brexit. So as you know, Brexit was announced only 12 months ago. A little bit in the newspapers about it, but of course a lot of people come from UK and they've got an interest in that. But a lot of people still have this old, especially over 50, they still have the old idea of the Commonwealth and the history of the British Empire and those sort of things. And that's what a lot of this, I think some of the concepts of the British deciding to get out of Europe came from. This is a page out of my presentation to show you that you can put in slides and information, a bit about what was happening. And then we did one on women in the workforce. Something I've been thinking about was that how the role of women has changed in the last 500 years. Now, we went back and looked at women in the Middle Ages. Where was women's role there? There was no middle class. They were effectively chattels. They were owned by their father when they were a child, and when they got married, they were owned by the husband. And that's changed, so for the better. So But we went through a whole range of things, from equal pay to the movement of women into the professions. Once we had universities became free in 1972, movement of women into the professions. And so just honouring the fact that women have moved into becoming half the workforce. And they are a very important part of making us more wealthy. If we didn't have women, half the population wasn't there working, we'd have half the wealth effectively, because you have half the gross national product. So we just talked about that. It was just a bit of an interesting one. It wasn't obviously topical, but I thought it just shows you that you've got a bit of depth. You're not just a guy there just wants to invest your money. You've got a perspective on the world that's not just a narrow one. And if anyone wants these seminars, I can always send them to you. But it's one that Women in the Workforce, something that, I don't know if there's Women's Investment Network used to be around many years ago, but I'm sure that there is groups of women who do have things like this, like to promote the role of women. Anyway, invite your referral sources, that's pretty obvious, just shows them that you're putting on these seminars, obviously shows you the topics that you're presenting are interesting and relevant to the clients. Change the times around during the week. So some people have their Rotary on a Tuesday and so they can't come on a Tuesday. Some people are looking after grandkids on a Wednesday. So if you move it around from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you'll get a different group of people. So it's important to do that. Use pictures in presentations, always important. And as I said, the more the markets are up and down in volatile situations, the more you'll get people coming along. So we did this one on the women in workforce and Brexit. We only had about 20 people there. But as I said, I got about 4 referrals from it. Because from the mail out, right? So I didn't care if nobody turned up, right? It's just getting referrals, right? So the key thing is, it was a cold week in Canberra, and it wasn't a really hot topic. It wasn't, the world's going to win, you're going to lose all your money. So it wasn't a real hot topic. So you can expect you're not going to get, huge turnouts. But I don't care. I just wanted to get that mail out. And anyway, as I said, we had three marketing opportunities. Letter to invite, one the RSVP, and then the third one is to say we've done the seminar. If you want to look at it, if you didn't come along, you can still see it on the video. Building trust, as we all talked about. Have somebody who's not a planner to read it, because my daughter, who's a teacher, she reads it and she's now helping me give a perspective on. She says, I don't understand what you're talking about. Well, we do. We often get into concepts that are simple for us, but that are not so easy for our clients to understand. As I said, it goes back through to YouTube, through our website as a link, and I've got about 6 or 7 on the website now of them, include ones with Shane Oliver as well. I asked him if it was okay. He said yes. So it's all good to have that association. So the type of topics, as I said, you don't have to be on, the age pension, superannuation, all those sort of normal financial planning ones. You can have interesting ones to show you've got a greater depth of knowledge. And as I said, I pinched the one on mapping the human genome from, I forget which fund manager it was. There was one on, it was a topic about all the Chinese buying up all Australian farms. And we did one on that because it was topical at the time. I try and do 2 topics because some people want to be interested in one and not the other. It gives you a bit more diversification. The main thing is to allow for questions at the end, so that's always good. I always find quite a few questions at the end. People seem to be pretty engaged. Only 1 or 2 people fall asleep, so that's pretty good. There's always one guy who's in his late 80s, and he loves to come, but he falls asleep halfway through. But anyway, that's all good. As I said, there's really 3 areas you can do. The educational ones, economic updates, or you can do, I call it economics of living. Mapping the human genome, economics of marriage, I haven't done that one yet. Autonomous cars is probably one I'll do next time. How the impact of autonomous cars will have on our society. It's going to be a huge impact from the fact that even potentially if you have autonomous cars, you won't need your garage. You've got a spare garage. You'll have because autonomous cars are smaller, you won't need as much space, you won't need as many bigger highways. There's huge impacts, right? If it becomes the norm. The most popular budget briefings, change of pension rules, what's happening in the share market if the market's down. Solar panels was an interesting one because a few years ago when everyone was getting the 44 cents a kilowatt hour for solar panels, people ringing up and said, oh, I'm going to get $10,000 to buy a solar panel. Oh, okay, well, they said, oh, the guy said it'll only take me 5 years to get my money back. And I said, well, no, that's not true because we're taking money out of your investment, which you've lost your investment, so the return's probably about 7 or 8 years. Are you going to be in your house for 7 or 8 years? So there's an impact. They're thinking they're saving money, but if they're going to just go and sell a house in 3 years' time, it's not going to save them money. Running a car, aged care. Now, aged care is a big one. That usually gets a lot of people in. Not because the people are going into aged care, it's because their parents are going into aged care. And they just don't know, it's a big, a big black box for a lot of people. They don't know why their fees. They think, well, all we have to do is get the parents to the steps of the aged care facility and it's all looked after that. Well, no. It gets a lot of people frightened, that one. And it gets good crowds, that one. Petrol pricing, when petrol was very high, I did a look at the analysis of why it was going to come back again in price, because they're often short-term things. So the two ones I normally keep redoing, so you can redo the same seminars quite often over time and over every 2 or 3 years, is aged care and superannuation rule changes. They're the two ones that you'll get a good response from. And creating a community of investors. Now this is important when the next disaster hits. When you've got people all come in and they're worried about their investments and you go through and say, well, this is what's going to happen and show them graphs and give them all the detail, they then all of a sudden, oh, that's okay. Because they all of a sudden realise everyone else is in the same boat. And once you see the whole group get comfortable with it, they're comfortable with it. So it's a groupthink concept that's very powerful. They go away happy. And that's the thing. You've got to keep people happy because the retirees got too much time to worry. They've got all day to worry. They've got all day to read the paper and worry. And that's where you've got to be on the front foot with these seminars to say, no, the world's not going to end. Newspapers are telling you porkies. This is what's actually happening. And showing great depth and your presentation skills and your detail, that gives them confidence you know what you're talking about. Some of my clients have referred their friends or their relatives and they often go out for a meal afterwards. It becomes a social event for them. So that's ultimately what you're looking for. You want to integrate into their lifestyle. They're expecting that next seminar. They often ask me, oh, when's your next seminar going to be? Because they've got that routine now. And it's an opportunity to bring new clients in because people don't want to come to see a planner. That's the worst thing that can happen. You have to admit that you don't know what you're doing with your money, especially for males. Well, females will get advice, but males won't. And so if they come and see you in a seminar and see, oh, he's got 2 arms, 2 legs, seems to know what he's talking about, we'll go and have a talk to him. Because I always charge a fee for my presentation, first consultation, and that's $350. And they're happy to pay that because they know that they've paid their fee. They're not going to get caught out with some little devious thing that's going to get their money. They know they're going to pay the fee and get out the door. That's their aim. They want to get that advice and get out the door. So if you charge them a fee, then they feel they've paid their fee and they're covered. But if they see you in a seminar and you know what you're talking about, that breaks the ice at least. And of course, the more you have your clients, the longer you've had your clients, the more they're better referrals that they refer people on to you because they say, oh, I've been with Russell 10 years, 5 years, 15, sometimes 27 years. And that credibility is what you're building up all over time, building up your trust bank. And as I said, being the frequency of it is such a great marketing tool in my view. We're good at giving advice, but we're not that good at marketing. Much better than accountants, and solicitors and most other professions, but we still need to be improving our marketing techniques. Especially because, as I said, I've got a lot of pre-retirees on my book that are my future clients. And as I said, you keep marketing to those. It's not even important that they come in. It's often when we have redundancies in Canberra, the whole section will get a redundancy. Like we just had literally everyone from the War Memorial who got a redundancy came and saw me because I'd already seen one of their previous staff. She'd told them another person to come in, and another person came in, and now my name in War Memorials. If you want to get a redundancy, go and see us. And that's because you've kept in contact with these people, you've done the good things, you've looked after them, and you've got that trust bank working good. So as I said, a major benefit is you're engaging with people on a mass basis. You're getting through a lot of information to clients in mass rather than having to answer every phone call, especially when there's a drama in the finance market. If you get 76 phone calls, it ties up your day. It's all about industrialisation of your processes. This is part of your industrialisation of your financial planning, so that you can be more efficient. So I can have 450 clients on my books, active clients, whereas most planners are only doing 150, 250. And part of that is this marketing process, that you can see a lot more people and keep that trust bank going by that process. So it's not a waste of time in the sense of, okay, the amount of time and money spent on it has dividends in efficiencies in your business. Especially when the market's down. That's what you're preparing for. You're always preparing for the next disaster. Somebody out there is creating the next disaster, whether it's the bond market crash or the share market crash. There's going to be something in the future where you're going to have to use up the trust bank and say, trust me, we're not going to lose your money. And this is a great way of doing it. As I talked about credibility and the referrals, that's the biggest disadvantage. You get too many referrals. Always a problem. So I don't think seminars have really been developed properly by most planners. They know the normal formulas, send out an invitation, yes, everyone's going to come and flock to it, but they're not really thinking of it as a marketing tool. They're not doing it in enough frequency, I believe, to keep engagement. And they're not keeping the topics diverse, interesting and relevant. You know, if I did a TTR seminar, no one would turn up. They wouldn't know what to talk about. If I did a seminar on superannuation in general, no one would turn up, because they're just bored by that. You've got to have it interesting. And it's not a very big cost to have these done on a regular basis. So hopefully I've got you some ideas there for you, because I know that obviously the success of your planners, it makes you successful. So I think that as a concept, it's been developed, but not as to the level I've gone to in many of the practices. So any questions on the way I do things?
Do you ever done seminars for the younger generation? Is it always around?
That's not my client base. No. We don't do insurance. We don't do corporate super. We just do retirees, and that's part of our industrialisation. Well, it's a historical reason, but specialisation, I think, is the way the industry's got to go, because you can only be good at so many things, and if you're becoming a planner who's good at insurances and corporate super and retirees, you're spread too thin in life. And it's very hard to then, if you're doing seminars, it's very hard to address the particular client base you've got. We can very much particularly just say retirees or a bit of pre-retirees, but we can then make it very specific to their needs. But no, I don't really go for pre-retirees. Oh, well, yeah, under 40s, let's say. Well, they've got no money. Kids' debts and taxes, that's what we've got.
What happens after, like say you mentioned these are going to be your future clients for retirees and referrals? Surely they would refer their kids, children, which are generally younger.
They do a bit. It's not common, but we do get the kids come in. But there's usually it's checking on mortgages or something like PPI benefits at the hospital, or it's usually not much we can help them with in Canberra, because they've got great super fund, they've got insurances in their super fund, they've got sick pay that goes out forever.
So you'd have like your own internal referrals perhaps?
Yeah, they do refer their clients, their kids, but It's
I
not-
meant like, sorry, I mean like, would you generally refer them to see maybe an insurance specialist or?
No, because they, as I said, they'll usually say, once you say insurance, they say, oh, I'm walking out of it. They say, oh, you must be one of those evil people who try to take all my money. Because they know that they've got very good insurances already in their super funds. I mean, these people in Canberra are checking their superannuation every day. They're counting down the days to 55. You know, they know everything about their super. So you've got a very conservative client base, and they're very we'll call it anti-business. That's why they see the public services of, you know, the cocoon in Canberra is all public service. There's only 3 industries: public service, retail, and building. There's nothing else. So they have a very, very insular view of the world, and that view is that the government's going to look after them, and it does. You can join the public service tomorrow and get 15.4% put into super every fortnight. So it's still a very lucrative super scheme down there, and they get the built-in insurances as well.
When you have your initial consultation, how long does that usually go for?
Hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
Yeah. One of the reasons it takes so long is because I actually write everything down. And the reason you write it down is because it slows you down, so they can absorb what you're saying. And then you can then give them a copy of what you talked about at the end. You keep a copy, they keep a copy. And then they can go back and refer to those notes just to remind themselves of the particular points, because there's too much information we've got to give them in the first presentation. But the whole essence is to get them to a point where you're saying, these are your objectives and this is your strategy. And ultimately, if you slow that down and they've got time to ask questions, time to absorb it, then you don't end off going off into a cul-de-sac with the wrong assumptions. So you write it down slowly, let them absorb it, and so they've got questions, they'll come to you at that time. That gets a confidence to them. So if you don't do that, if you just give them an oral presentation, as you know, only half people listen to the oral part, the other people are visual. Well, the visual person will get the notes. The oral person will hear your presentation. So the two of those concepts together will build up a much more credible picture for your presentation. So that's what a lot of people don't do. They just do it too quickly, and then they go out and say, "Oh," their head's bulging with all this information. They've got nothing on there. And then they say, "Well, you've got to do a plan now. It's $5,000." Says, "Oh, well, that's why I do. Oh, I can do that because it's going to cost me." But if you then put down your strategy, then when you get to the plan stage, you're effectively just going back over that handwritten material into your written plan. And that's the easy way to sell the $2,200 fee for that charge, because they said, okay, well, this is just we've got to go and do a plan now, but you can see what the result is now. We can see that you're going to be better off. We can see you're getting income in retirement. We can see you can get an age pension. We've done all the calculations, and now we just have to put it on paper. So it's so important to do that. I just can't emphasise anymore. Yeah, it's so important. If you can tell your young planners, if you can do that, you'll double your score rate, I reckon, in its success rate in your clients, because it just gets that engagement much. All convinced? All going out to do something? Right.
That's excellent.
Right, guys.
So before we go, just a reminder, last time we spoke we talked about giveaways. Now, I was just thought I'd introduce a few more concepts for you. This one's a calculator and a rule. So anyone who wants to, this one is a pen, it's got a light on it. And this time of year we start to give out diaries. Now, this diary is important because for retirees, they like something, a big page. Right? So they'll come in and ask, have you got your diary this year? But of course it's got my name and phone number on the front, which is what you want. You're creating an infiltrator into their house so that they remember where you are. They've got your phone number, you can't go away. Most people are over 50 have got glasses, so you give them this. So each time they come in, you can vary the giveaways. So this time of year it's this. Later on in summer, you give them a glass cleaner. And later on, the only other one I've come across is little torches. People love these. They when they're caravanning, they get Don't have to
Thank
turn the light on.
Yep.
So something there for you. So yeah. So there you go, Andy.
I'll have another.
Have another one.
Is there even a bowler?
Yeah.
What's the battery?